All right. Aloha mai kako, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We're actually just glad we're here, all safe and sound. So thank you very much. It is now 10:35 a.m., and we call to order the August 19, 2026 Land Use Commission meeting. This is a hybrid meeting being held in person at the J. Walter Cameron Center in Conference Room 1 and 2 at 95 Mahalani Street, Wailuku, Hawaii, 96793, and with virtual participation via Zoom. This meeting is open to the public. And please be advised that this meeting is being recorded via Zoom, and the recording will be posted on YouTube and used for court reporting purposes. Your continued participation is your implied consent to be part of the public record of this event. If you do not wish to be part of the public record, you should exit this meeting now. For those attending via Zoom, please note that the question and answer feature will only be used for signing up for public testimony. All other communications through Zoom will not be monitored or made part of the meeting record. Written communications can be emailed to the Land Use Commission office at dbedt.luc.web@hawaii.gov. That's Delta Bravo Echo Delta Tango .luc.web@hawaii.gov. For all meeting participants, please speak slowly, clearly, and directly into your microphone. And before speaking, please state your name to identify yourself for the record. We'll also share with all participants that we will take breaks from time to time, approximately every 60 minutes. For commissioners participating remotely, please state your location and whether anyone over the age of 18 is present with you. All right. My name is Brian Lee, and I will be serving as the LUC chair today. With me are, there are 7 seated commissioners, but joining me today is Commissioner Jason Bradshaw from Oahu, Commissioner Ken Hayashida from Oahu, Vice Chair Kūihelani Kamakeo from Oahu, Commissioner Bruce U'u from Maui Nui, Commissioner Miles Miyasato from the Big Island, and we're glad you could join us, Commissioner Miyasato. Absent today is our second Vice Chair, Commissioner Mel Kahele from Oahu. Commissioner Miyasato, are you there by yourself?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, I appreciate your attendance. I know it's difficult for you, and we definitely appreciate your attendance. Also in attendance today is the LUC Executive Officer, Mr. Daniel Ordenker, the LUC Chief Planner, Scott Derrickson, the LUC Staff Planner, Ms. Martina Segura, the LUC Chief Clerk, Ms. Ariana Kwan, and our LUC Deputy Attorney General, Miranda Steed, Esquire. All right. Again, court reporting transcriptions are being done from this Zoom recording. Agenda item number 2 is the SP 26-417 Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 LLC Maui. This next order of business is to consider the petitioner's application for a special permit, SP, to construct and operate the Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 project, an approximately 40 megawatt MW ground-mounted solar photovoltaic system with a 160 megawatt hour battery energy storage system, a project electrical substation, a Maui Electric Company Limited switchyard and interconnection lines, and other ancillary facilities compatible agricultural activities. Files pertaining to this docket are available at luc.hawaii.gov/SP26-417. The parcel information is tax map key 2 in parentheses 3-8-005-002-003 portion, approximately 476.303 acres of land in the state and county agricultural districts located within a 3,898 acre parcel of land in Kahului County of Maui, state of Hawaii. All right, I'm going to ask the parties to make their appearances for the records. Starting with the petitioner, will you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning, Chair, First Vice Chair, and members of the Commission, Curtis Tabata and Cal Chipchase with the applicant, Kūihelani Solar, Phase 2, LLC. With us today to my right is AES representative and project developer Michael Jenkins and the applicant's agent Lisa Ketley.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the names again? Sorry.
It's Michael Jenkins to my right, my immediate right, and then there's Lisa Ketley,
How do you spell that?
Kettley.
Okay, thank you. All right, County of Maui's Planning Department.
Good morning, Chair. Michael Hopper, Deputy Corporation Counsel. On behalf of the Maui County Department of Planning, with me are Planning Director Jackie Takakura and Planner Denise Bradley.
Okay, State of Hawaii Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
Good morning, Allison Kato, Deputy Attorney General for the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development. Also here is Aaron Saragawa, planner from OPSD. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kato. All right, Mr. Tabata, have you reviewed Hawaii Administrative Rules Section 15-15-45.1 regarding the reimbursement of hearing expenses?
Yes, Chair, and we will follow the rule.
Thank you very much. Okay, in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statute Section 84-14, commissioners are not allowed to take any official action affecting a business in which they or a member of their family has any financial interest. They must therefore recuse themselves from this matter if there's any benefit, monetary or otherwise, to themselves or members of the family. Also, in accordance with legal ethical standards, commissioners should disclose any relationship, business, social or otherwise, that they may have with the petitioner or its representatives or any of the other parties to this proceeding that may give rise to any allegation of bias or impropriety. Do any of the commissioners have any conflicts of interest or disclosures to make? Okay, seeing none. As a reminder, commissioners are prohibited from engaging in ex parte communications regarding pending or future docket matters pursuant to HAR Section 15-15-62. This includes off-the-record discussions with parties, attorneys, applicants, or interested persons during recesses or breaks in these proceedings. To ensure transparency, fairness, and public trust in the Commission's process, all discussions relating to docket matters must occur on the record during the public meeting. Commissioners and parties are respectfully asked to avoid any off-the-record communications concerning matters before this Commission. Let me briefly now explain our procedures for today. First, we will recognize the written public testimony that has been submitted on this matter. Next, we will call for members of the public who wish to provide oral testimony. Then the staff planner will give a briefing on the staff report that has been posted for this docket. Next, the petitioner will then be called upon to make their presentation. And we will then call on the County Planning Department and then State OPSD for their presentation and or comments. The commissioners will have opportunities to ask questions of the parties at the conclusion of each of their presentations. Then the parties will be given an opportunity for closing arguments. We will then reopen the floor to the public for any new or additional oral testimony on this matter. And finally, the commission will deliberate on the matter based on the testimony and evidence presented. We would like to once again remind all participants to speak slowly, clearly, and directly into their microphones, unlike me sometimes. And before speaking, please state your name and identify yourself for the record. This ensures our transcriber can produce an accurate transcript of these proceedings. All right, are there any questions about our procedures for today? Okay, hearing none. As stated on today's agenda, please be informed that the relevant records and documents pertaining to this matter can be accessed for review on the Land Use Commission website at luc.hawaii.gov/SP26-417. We are now going to recognize any written public testimony submitted on this matter. So, Ms. Kwan, has there been any written testimony submitted on this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we received 9 written testimonies that have all been posted to the website.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. Are there any members of the public that wish to provide oral testimony today on this matter?
Yes, we have 4 signed up.
Okay, and you've kindly sent me a link to that, and I will now start with Cindy Freitas. Thank you. Sorry, wrong date. Desmond Kabilis. Yes. I'm going to ask you to state your name and then I'll swear you in. That will help. So your name and your zip code.
Desmond Kabilis with the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters 96793.
Do you want to sit down?
Can do.
All right. Mr. Kabilis, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Good morning, commissioners. We are in strong support for this special use permit requested by Kūihelani Solar Phase 2. From my perspective, this project checks the boxes for what Maui needs right now. It provides 40 megawatts of solar energy and 160 megawatt hours of battery storage, helping Maui move towards a more reliable and renewable energy future. The project will serve Maui island-wide grid and contribute directly to Hawaii's goal of reaching 100% renewable energy. But this project is about more than just producing electricity. It is also about jobs, local economic activity, agriculture, and keeping opportunities here in Hawaii. The project is estimated to generate or sustain approximately 1,541 jobs and 251.9 million in economic output over its lifetime. As a representative of working people, I believe projects like this could create meaningful opportunities for local workers and the skilled trades. I also appreciate that Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 incorporates compatible agricultural activities, including sheep grazing and herding, as well as honey production. This allows us to pursue renewable energy while continuing to support agriculture and productive use of the land. The project is expected to provide enough clean energy to serve the equivalent of approximately 18,425 homes annually, while avoiding the use of more than 1.8 million barrels of fuel and approximately 680,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions over its 20-year operating life. For me, this is what responsible development should look like: clean energy, battery storage, local jobs, economic benefits, agriculture, and greater energy security for Maui. We need to continue building a future where our families have reliable electricity, our workers have good opportunities, and our island becomes less dependent on imported fossil fuels. For this reason, I respectfully ask that you support Kūihelani Solar Phase 2. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Kabilis. Hold on a second. Commissioners, does anyone have any questions for the testifier? Okay, seeing none, thank you for your testimony. All right, the next person signed up to testify is Mr. Thomas Kossi. Okay, Mr. Kossi, please state your full name and your zip code.
Good morning, Thomas Kalanikia Kiakasi, HRCC.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Commission. Thank you for hearing us today. My name is Thomas Kossi. I am a union carpenter and I make my living in the building trades here on Maui. I am in support of Kūihelani Solar Phase 2. I want to tell you how our trade actually works. Young people come to us as apprentices. They get paid while they learn. They earn hours on the real job sites, and after a few years of that, they come out as a journeyman with a skill nobody can take away from them. No student debt, a real career. But none of that happens without work on the ground. No projects, no hours. No hours, no apprentices. It is that direct. A job this size gives our young people serious experience. Layout, concrete foundations, structures, and working alongside new energy technology that is only going to become more common. That is training for the next 20 years of work in this state. I would rather see a kid from Kahului or Wailuku build this island's power system than watch that kid buy a one-way ticket to Las Vegas. Moving this application forward is what makes those hours and those careers real. And I hope you will keep our young people in mind when you decide. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kossi. Commissioners, are there any questions for this testifier? All right, seeing none, thank you for your testimony, Mr. Kossi.
Thank you.
The next testifier is Mr. Pane Miatonga on Zoom.
Can you turn on your camera and microphone, please?
Hi, can you see and hear me?
Yes, we can. Mr. Miyatonga, please state your full name and your zip code.
Hi, Pane Metonga the third, Deputy Political Director for Operating Engineers Local 3, representing our members on Maui. My zip code is 96702.
Okay, Mr. Miyatonga, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. I believe you have a written testimony from our district representative, Ana Sopo. I just wanted to follow up and just reiterate a couple of points. Most importantly, this project, this Kūihelani Solar Phase 2, this will help to fulfill 10% of Maui's electrical needs. I think that is very key, especially with what's happened over this past weekend. Being sustainable, being able to produce our own power on our own island without relying on transported fuels is very key for us to be sustainable. I also wanted to reiterate that that this is going to be very key with agriculture. Some of the testifiers have already alluded to that, but allowing us to do renewable energy, to also do farming and agriculture work. I think those are key for this project. I stand with my brothers in the fellow trades and with members of Maui for Operating Engineers Local 3. We support this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miyatonga. Commissioners, are there any questions for Mr. Miyatonga? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. The next person signed up to testify is Mr. Micah Kim. Are you there on Zoom?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Kim, please state your name and your zip code.
Yeah, Micah Kim, 96815.
Okay, Mr. Kim, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please proceed.
Aloha, Chair and members of the Land Use Commission. My name is Micah Kim, and I'm here on behalf of Pacific Resource Partnership in support of the Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 project. At PRP, we believe in building a better future for Hawaii by supporting economic development, quality job opportunities, environmental stewardship, and investments that improve the quality of life for Hawaii residents. And we believe that this project advances each of those priorities. This project is expected to generate approximately 10% of Maui's electricity needs, enough to power more than 18,000 homes annually. And because that power will be provided at a stable fixed price over the life of the project, Maui residents and businesses will be less exposed to the volatility that comes with our dependence on imported fossil fuels. The project is also estimated to support approximately 1,500 jobs, nearly $90 million in labor income, and more than $250,000 in economic activity. And so that means jobs and wages for Hawaii workers and opportunities for local contractors and businesses. Additionally, like everyone else mentioned, AES plans to make land available at no cost to a local agricultural partner for activities such as sheep grazing and honey production, allowing the land to support local agriculture while also generating renewable energy for Maui. And so when you put all of those benefits together, this project is an important opportunity to put underutilized land to productive use in a way that supports working families, local businesses, agriculture, Maui's energy security, and Hawaii's renewable energy goals. And so for these reasons, we respectfully support this project and encourage the Commission to approve the project. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Commissioners, any questions for the testifier? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Kim, thank you for your testimony. All right, Ms. Kwan, are there any other folks signed up to testify?
Seeing none in the Q&A feature and seeing none in the room, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kwan. All right, petitioner, I'm going to ask you to provide your presentation, but first, can you give us an estimate of the time length of your presentation?
Thank you, Chair. I think we'll take maybe an hour. I mean, you get the
Okay.
PowerPoint is half an hour, and I'm planning on doing about half an hour.
Okay,
Maybe less. I'll try and speed it up. Did you want the staff report to go before me?
no.
Okay.
Please proceed, and then we'll probably have to take a bathroom break, but brevity is a virtue.
Understood. Okay. Our presentation today will start with Record Exhibit N, which is a PowerPoint that was presented to the Maui Planning Commission. The presenters will be Michael Jenkins and Lisa Ketley. After the PowerPoint, I will go over the legal requirements for our application. Yep. If you could swear in Mr. Jenkins.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Okay, please proceed.
Okay. Hi. Thank you.
Well, Miss Ketley or Brentley? Ketley, will you also be participating in the presentation? I'll swear you in as well. Ms. Ketley, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, that's on there. Can you hear me well? Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for your time today. For the record, my name is Michael Jenkins. I'm a project developer with AES Hawaii. I'm representing the petitioner, Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 LLC today. For about 4 years, I've been responsible for managing the development of this project. So that's included diligence, evaluation of the site itself, working with many internal and external teams and subject matter experts, and managing the entitlement as well. So I'll be doing a presentation today with Lisa, and she'll be speaking a little bit later on. Recently, the Maui Planning Commission approved the county special use permit, and we are here requesting the approval of a state special permit. The project team members that you can see on the screen here presented on May 26th to the Maui Planning Commission, some of which are joining us in person or virtually. And they're also joined by members of the team shown here on the screen as well. Development of this project included a lot of diligence and studies. So I have here on the screen some of those. These are design and technical studies, environmental, archaeological, and cultural, and community and economic as well. And so should the commission have any questions on some of the details we talked about today, or some of these, members of the team can help to answer those. Okay, let's start with an overview of the project that's being proposed. So as mentioned, we're here to seek approval of the state special permit with a permit term of 30 years, and I'll speak a little bit to that in a moment. This is the proposed project, Kūihelani Solar Phase 2, is a utility scale renewable energy project. So it's 40 megawatts solar photovoltaic or PV, and 160 megawatt hour battery energy storage complement. The power produced by this project will be sold to Maui Electric under a power purchase agreement, and this directly serves Maui's island-wide grid while also supporting the state's renewable energy goals. The project is a permissible and temporary use. At the end of its operational life, it will be decommissioned, and there's financial surety for that as well. Excuse me, I lost my place there. And it's also a dual use of the land as well. So while providing for energy, we are also making it available for a local agricultural partner to conduct productive agriculture on this ag zone land. Oh, and excuse me, that purple shape there, so that's the petition area. It's about 476 acres or so. So I just wanted to call that out before we go into more detail. And then on the permit term, before I move on, that 30 years was determined to be appropriate that we're requesting. That accounts for the development, construction, or development, permitting, construction of the project. A minimum operational life of 20 years is contemplated under the PPA, and then decommissioning as well. So this is a bit shorter than similar projects, including one of our own, Kūihelani Solar and Storage, at 38 years.
All right, we're gonna zoom in a little bit here. Excuse me. This is that purple shape there is the petition area. This is on land owned by Mahipono. They're our landowner partner for this. As I mentioned, about 476 acres. But once constructed, the project itself is the project components are only going to be about 250 acres within the fenced areas of the project. To kind of further orient you, that's Kūihelani Highway kind of at the top, and then North Kihei Road at the bottom there. The nearest residence is kind of at the southwestern edge of the project, and that's the condominiums in Ma'alaya. It's about 0.8 miles away for reference. The petition area is located in county-zoned ag land and within the state agricultural district. It is IAL designated and on LSB class B and E soils. And it was used for sugarcane cultivation for a long time, but hasn't really been in productive ag since then. Now, if I can direct your attention to inside the purple shape there, we can talk about some of the major components of the project itself. So I think it's actually pretty easy to see that the kind of black, gray, hashed areas, that's the solar panels. Those are the arrays. And then within those kind of sprinkled about are little blue squares, and those are the power conversion stations and the which contain the battery storage units. And then kind of near the south of the petition area, you'll see those two kind of rectangle shapes, blue and green. That is a new project substation, and then a new Maui Electric company switchyard. And then coming out of the Maui Electric switchyard on the teal lines there, those are the interconnection loop lines. And at the end of those, you'll see they kind of terminate into these gold stars. That is where we'll be connecting to Maui's grid at the existing 69 kV transmission lines. I do want to note, right, the Maui Electric switchyard as well as the interconnection lines that the petitioner AES will be building. Those are going to be transferred. They're going to be designed and built to Maui Electric standards and then transferred to them upon commencement of operations for them to manage. Importantly, also, so I don't forget to mention this, but the electrical wiring from the solar panels connecting to the power conversion stations to the substation is pretty much all underground, with the exception of a couple short spans where we have to go overhead because of the existing agricultural roads there or some drainage features. And I do want to, before I move on, kind of make this point. The goal here, right, is producing low cost energy. And so when we look at a site like this, it's good for that for a variety of reasons. There's existing private agricultural roads. It's relatively flat, but most importantly, it's proximate to existing Maui Electric infrastructure that was identified to have capacity for a project like this. So all of those factors play a key role in achieving that goal. Okay, I'm going to talk through some of the benefits of the project. So the environmental benefits are substantial. The project will generate enough electricity to power approximately just over 18,000 homes, representing about 10% of Maui's annual electricity needs. And then over its lifespan, the project will be displacing about 1.8 million barrels of fossil fuel, which translates to about 680,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions avoided. And then on the economic side, which is also very meaningful, the project is estimated to generate or sustain about 1,500 jobs here in Hawaii and about $252 million in economic activity. And those jobs are direct, indirect, and induced, created or sustained by the project. Critically, the power purchase agreement with Maui Electric provides a stable and fixed low cost of energy from the project. So this really helps to insulate Maui ratepayers from the volatility that is present with imported fossil fuels. And then last but not least, the petitioner is committing $120,000 per year in community benefits funding that's identified by the community over the operational period of the project. Again, a minimum of 20 years in the PPA. Okay. Let's get back to some of the components of the project that I was showing on the previous couple slides. I'm going to go through some of these. They're going to be representative photos. I'll go ahead and speak to them. So probably the most recognizable part of a project like this is, of course, the solar panels. This project is going to consist of approximately 107,000 commercial grade PV panels. These are mounted on a single axis tracker racking system. You can see there, they're kind of sitting on steel posts. So the trackers, they rotate east to west on a fixed horizontal axis, and this allows the panels to follow the sun and help increase the efficiency of what they capture. This tracking system is supported by those posts. They're steel I-beams. It's a series of them along each of the strings. And this kind of system is pretty cool because it actually follows the land where undulations and topography are pretty well, which allows us to have a minimal footprint on installation, as well as kind of reduce the amount of grading that might be needed. Okay. Those power conversion stations that I mentioned earlier, right, they have the battery storage component. So the power conversion stations are concrete pads. You can see there on the left photo, that's Kūihelani Solar and Storage. So that's a good example of what you'll see for this project. So they're on concrete pads, and they contain the battery energy storage, as well as like key communication and conversion equipment. There's going to be about 24 of them distributed throughout the site, those little blue squares that I was showing earlier. And each of these pads is independently monitored and can be shut off if needed manually or remotely. And I think you can see pretty well in the photos, they also have a non-vegetated fire break around them. So as I said, each pad does hold a battery unit. So what these batteries do, in the top right, you kind of see they're stacked in there in like a modular fashion, and the battery units themselves kind of look like shipping containers, although they're much more sophisticated than a shipping container, I can promise you that. But what they do is they charge from energy generated by the facility during the day so that it can be discharged in the evening or when demand ramps up, which is critical for a project like this. And each one of these, right as I said, are in steel containers. They're weather sealed, tight, and they feature a lot of safety and advanced management systems. And I'll speak to some of those, and I think in particular, fire prevention and mitigation is extremely important to speak to when it comes to this kind of equipment. Redundancy, I think, is the key here when it comes to not just the project's design, but the equipment that we'll be having and how we design it. So the project right incorporates multiple layers of hazard control and is designed to the latest industry standards. And what we see is actually insurance standards are actually typically higher or set a higher bar. And for a project like this, to finance and underwrite it, we have to meet those expectations. So the battery systems, specifically in these photos on the right, are representative of what you'll see in those. These have alarms, plethora of sensors, HVAC for temperature control, and then built-in fire suppression, as well as advanced battery management systems. So this allows for automatic and manual shutoff, as well as any mitigation if things kind of go awry. The design of the project does include clearance zones between equipment, non-vegetated fire breaks, such as what I was showing earlier, as well as around the perimeter of the project and other pieces of equipment. And it also features rapid disconnect mechanisms that allow individual pieces of equipment or like sections of equipment to be disconnected to prevent any issues to the system or the grid itself. The plant is remotely monitored 24/7. by one of our remote operations control centers, but it is also monitored by full-time on-island and on-site staff, as well as our staff around the state. And we have a strong operations team, especially here on Maui. The emergency response plans we would develop for construction as well as operation of the project. And these will be developed and coordinated with local first responders as well as the local fire department. And then lastly, a vegetation management plan will be developed to, ensure that we keep combustibles down and away from electrical equipment, while allowing, of course, some vegetation for soil stabilization and forage. And speaking of forage, one of my favorite parts of a project like this. As we mentioned, the site hasn't really been in use for productive ag since sugarcane. So what we look for are options, agricultural activities that would fit the site's condition, as well as keeping in mind the resources that are available. And so our landowner did communicate to us early on that water wouldn't be available on site. And so we had to look to see what we could do. And so to that effort, we did work with former Department of Ag Director Scott Enright to help evaluate and develop feasible, compatible agricultural plans that were sensitive to water resources. And we've been working with the Living Pono project. They're our partner on the Kūihelani Solar and Storage project, and that's that photo in the top right, actually, that's from that site. That's their sheep. And we worked with them, and they're a local community and agricultural nonprofit, to look at what they think would be most feasible and practical, and that's how we determined that livestock, sheep, for instance, and honey production would be good compatible uses. They do require minimal water, and it's something that we've worked with them on. So I think it's gonna be great. And our resource commitments are to help our partner be successful. So that includes that no-cost lease, which exceeds the statutory requirement of at least 50% of market rate for this kind of use. And our other commitments, right, are really to help subsidize where they may need their compatible agriculture operations, again, so they can be successful in what they know how to do best. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic to Lisa. Project partner, go for it.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Lisa Ketley. I'm the Senior Planner and Project Manager with Tetra Tech. Tetra Tech was contracted by AES to assist with a variety of the due diligence studies, and most importantly, with the county and state discretionary land use permitting for the project. Is that better? I'm going to quickly walk through and talk about the state and county land use designations for the permitting area. So at the state level, as you can see in the figure on this slide, the petition area falls entirely within the State Agricultural Land Use District. Based on the Land Study Bureau, or the LSB, the site comprises LSB Class B and Class E soils. It's about 75% Class B, and about the remaining 25-ish% is Class E. The majority of the site does fall within an area that was designated as important agricultural lands, or IAL. This was back in 2009 when the land was owned by A&B, being operated as part of the HCNS sugarcane plantation. That designation covers about 27,000 acres. The petition site sits on the far western edge of that designated area. It comprises about 1.6% of the overall 27,000 acres. Based on the state land use district, the ag district, and the requirements of HRS Chapter 205, the proposed solar energy facilities are a permitted use with issuance of a special permit, which is why we're before you today. There are 3 requirements outlined in HRS Chapter 205 specific to solar energy facilities on Class B or Class C soils. Number 1, the project area must be made available for compatible agricultural activities at a lease rate at least 50% below the fair market value. The solar energy facility must be decommissioned within 12 months of the end of the operational period, with the land returned to substantially the same condition that existed prior to construction. And proof of financial security for that decommissioning must be provided before the commencement of power generation. The project will meet or exceed these requirements, as Michael will discuss throughout the presentation, and it's also detailed in the application, which is Exhibit A in the record. Okay, moving on to the county level, starting with the Maui County General Plan. The project would be consistent with the specified policies and the land use map designation in the plan. As you can see on this slide, all three levels of the general plan, so that includes the countywide policy plan, the Maui Island Plan, and the Kihei Makena Community Plan, all explicitly call for expansion of solar and other renewable energy production to help reduce Maui's dependence on fossil fuel. And as Michael's discussed, that's exactly what this project is designed to do. As specifically identified on the community plan land use map, the solar and energy storage facilities would be within an area designated for agriculture, within which solar facilities are specifically identified as an appropriate use. Next slide. Based on the Maui County Zoning Code, the petition area is located entirely within the agricultural zoning district. You can see on the figure on the slide deck. Again, based on the county code, solar energy facilities greater than 15 acres in area are permitted in the county agricultural zoning district with issuance of a county special use permit. And the project's application for a county special use permit was approved by the Maui County Planning Commission, which you can see in the decision and order, which is contained in Exhibit K of the record. I'll pass it back to Michael.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Some of those studies that were shown earlier, I'm going to go through a few of them. In the next two slides, we'll focus on archaeological, historical, and cultural resources, impacts, and studies. So on the archaeological side, in AIS, an archaeological inventory survey was completed for the project. And the actual study area of that survey was 729 acres, which is far beyond the petition area. The field investigations included 100% pedestrian survey of that area, as well as ground penetrating radar and subsurface testing throughout. The findings of that research concluded that no pre-contact historic properties or deposits were identified, and 4 post-contact historic properties were identified, predominantly related to plantation and agriculture use. The State Historic Preservation Division reviewed and approved the AIS, and an archaeological monitoring plan, or AMP, was then prepared and submitted to SHPD. Which subsequently accepted the archaeological monitoring plan. A cultural impact assessment was prepared for the project. The CIA included extensive archival and background research, community outreach, and Kapakai analysis. The results of this research and outreach found that the area around the project has a rich cultural history, but that no documentation or testimony indicating ongoing traditional or customary practices were currently being exercised within the petition area. Okay, now I'm going to talk about site access as well as how we looked at mitigating traffic impacts. So a traffic impact analysis report, or a TIAR, was prepared for the project, and this evaluated the construction and operational traffic at access points and nearby roads. It analyzed existing conditions, baseline future conditions without the project, and baseline future conditions with construction and operations traffic. 4 potential access points were studied individually for a conservative analysis of impact, And the access points studied are shown in this figure here. I think, okay, it's not blocking it good. So starting at the top right, that little yellow circle, that is from Maui Veterans Memorial Highway, and that goes down the privately owned Kane Hall Road down to the project site. And then coming around on North Kihei Road, there's two accesses there. On that first one, South 8th Street, and then 9th Street, again, privately owned agricultural roads. And then going all the way around on Kūihelani Highway, that is actually an existing access for our Kūihelani Solar and Storage Project next door. So those are the four. The TIAR, as I said, evaluated them all individually, but in practice, we will be using multiple access points. The TIAR concluded that the construction access plan for the project will not impact level of service on adjacent roadways. Long term, the operation of the project will require only about 3 or 4 daily employees, so the impact to adjacent roads is pretty negligible there. No permanent roadway improvements are needed. Construction impacts will be managed through a construction traffic management plan and combined access points and restricted turns as appropriate. I'm going to talk a little bit to site preparation and civil considerations. So again, right, this was long-term used for sugarcane cultivation. So the site is relatively flat and has very little topography. It's going to require pretty minimal grading and no substantive change to drainage patterns. The grading would primarily occur around the equipment paths, the substation and switchyard, and the internal access routes in and around the arrays. As we shared earlier, the panels are sitting on a racking system, which is supported by a series of steel posts. The technology and the way it's installed conforms really well to the land. So where undulations do exist, it minimizes the amount of land disturbance and avoids extensive grading. It can handle those within pretty good tolerance. To install the posts, we don't need to excavate either. They're pile driven into the ground, which again results in a pretty minimal footprint. The project will incorporate a full array of best management practices in compliance with NPDES and county requirements to address stormwater as well as erosion and sediment control during construction and operation. There will be a series of stormwater features such as drainage basins that will capture, treat, retain, infiltrate stormwater on site that will ensure that peak flows will be at or below pre-development levels. Lastly, visual impacts were explicitly considered and informed project design. So I'll start with the site, right, is not immediately proximate to residences. As I shared earlier, the closest ones are about 0.8 miles away over in Ma'alaya. And then in relation to Waikapu, Kahului, and Kihei, those are at least 2 miles from the petition area. The project is set back from nearby roads, so no publicly accessible locations are immediately proximate to the proposed facilities, which helps to minimize potential visual impacts. Our assessment consisted of both a glare analysis and visual simulations. The glare analysis, included observation points from surrounding areas as well as nearby roadway segments. It also specifically addressed the flight approach path and air traffic control tower for Kahului Airport. The results of this analysis indicated that none of the receptors would experience any type of glare. These results were filed with the FAA, which then issued a determination of no hazard. And then visual simulations were prepared to evaluate visibility of the project components themselves. And those viewpoints were those are viewpoints from publicly accessible surrounding locations, representative of what the public may see. I'm going to get a little bit of water before I flip through those. Okay. So the full suite of these are in the application, one of the appendices. but we pulled out a few of them that we thought important to share and talk through with you. So this is from Ma'alahi Street. This is up in Wailuku Heights. This is the existing conditions. So you can see it's kind of higher up in elevation. So it has a good view of Central Maui and of the project and petition area. And what I'll do is I add simulated project conditions, which can be kind of tough even on a big screen. So you can see a highlight in red. So that's to kind of show you where those project components are. I'll go toggle a little bit. You can see that given the distance and the topography and the vegetation and kind of the patchwork of ag lands in Central Maui, they blend in pretty well. Next, we're now driven down south. We're on Kūihelani Highway. And this is actually one of the nearest roadways to the project. A lot of the project itself from this roadway is actually obscured by topography and existing vegetation. So this is one of the few spots where we can take a clear photo to show you. It's kind of tough to actually find that, but it's probably one of the more visible ones. So I'll go ahead and do the simulated conditions, and then I'll go ahead and highlight them. So you can see here in red, right, those would be the project components off in the distance there. Now, given their low profile and the existing vegetation, they blend in pretty well. But again, this is probably one of the more visible spots for the project that you'd see. And now we're over on Ma'alaya Road. So this is leaving the harbor and driving towards Central Maui. Go ahead and simulate it here. We showed in green, and this is an example of this because, again, topography in this case, kind of a berm, actually entirely shields the view of the project, which is the case in some instances in roads like this. But we wanted to give you that for a sensitive idea of space. All right, now we're on North Kihei Road. So if you recall, I talked about 4 access points. This is one of them. This is 9th Street. This is looking kind of like due north into the petition area. This is a private ag road that we'd be using for access. And this is actually one of the, I think it is the closest publicly accessible point to the interconnection facilities that I talked about earlier. So if you look in the picture, you'll see existing Maui Electric 69 kV transmission lines that go across it. And in the background is the line that we would be connecting to. So I popped in the simulated conditions there, and I'll highlight them. So those are the structures and the interconnection lines that I talked about. So some of that would be visible there. And then when I pull up the green highlight, you'll see that most of the solar array, if not all of it from this location at least, is hidden by the vegetation. Last one. We are on Maui Veterans Memorial Highway. This is the south end of Mehameha Loop, looking across Central Maui towards the project and petition area. So I'm going to go ahead and pop open the simulated one, and then I'm going to do a little toggle here so you can see where the red highlight is. So you can see the project facilities are actually set quite a distance back, 650 feet past the Waikapu Stream corridor in this instance. So given that distance, again, it blends in pretty well, but from this stretch of road, there are areas where the project would pop in and out of visibility through the terrain and vegetation. So ultimately, given the low profile of the equipment, the topography, as well as the existing vegetation, visual impacts from many different viewpoints are pretty minimal from publicly accessible locations. Okay, so I hope what we've shared has given you a good understanding of the project itself. But before we conclude, I think it's also important for us to share the timeline and to be clear about that and what we're aiming for. A lot of the durations that you see here are concurrent or overlapping, but what I want to draw your attention to is the bolded text there, kind of near the third row to the bottom. It's critical that we reach commercial operations before the end of 2028 so that we can meet certain investment tax credit deadlines and ensure that we can deliver that stable, low-cost energy that this project provides. This is an outline of the important entitlement criteria that we discussed here today to show you what we've talked about. So in conclusion, I hope you agree that this project has meaningful benefits and is honestly a really good opportunity for us to deliver a win for Maui. The project does support Hawaii's renewable energy goals, but most importantly, it answers critical local energy need. The construction and operation of the project will create sizable local economic activity, jobs, and community benefits. And lastly, this project is committed to rising above the statutory requirements to support continued agricultural use of ag lands while this project operates. And again, we want our partner to be successful in that endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jenkins, Ms. Kedley. Ms. Kedley. Commissioners, are there any questions for the petitioner?
Commissioner Hayashida.
Okay, Commissioner Hayashida.
So how many solar farms do you have on Maui and in the state of Hawaii?
We have one operational, and that's adjacent. That's Kūihelani Solar and Storage, and we have operational now about 5, I think. Yeah, 5, excuse me. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the success of your compatible agricultural uses on those 5 or 6 projects?
Yeah, sure. So in full disclosure, I started working at AES about 4 years ago. So I came in when some of those operations were already kind of settled, but I have seen them work through challenges, but also be successful. So on Kauai, I think that was one of the first ones. The partner there, and I'm blanking on his name, he's been on that site now for quite some time. And when I saw it a couple of years ago, it's pretty well oiled. It's a lot, right? There's a little bit of a learning period there, but he manages a fairly large herd and works with our operation team well there. And then on Oahu, there are some successful operations over in our West Oahu project. And I think, yeah, that's about what I know right now.
So none of them have not come up with a compatible agricultural use. So none of your projects have not met that requirement to have compatible agricultural use within 6 months or 12 months or whatever the requirement is.
Not that I'm aware of, no. They've all met that requirement.
You don't have documentation of its success, like a like a marketing piece that talks about how you're successful.
I don't know if we've developed good marketing for that now, but I think they're successful in meeting requirements as well as the agricultural partners' success, if that makes sense.
Seems like we should have some documentation of success.
I know in our application we do have a little bit more detail about it and those sites. I'm sorry, yeah, if you can elaborate maybe on what you're specifically.
We're talking about compatible agricultural use, and I want to know the success of successful compatible agricultural use.
Yeah, it might be good in the future to have some production results.
Oh, I see. Excuse me.
Okay. Yes. Commissioner Kamakea, hello.
Mahalo, Chair. I'll follow up with an ag question. You mentioned an agricultural plan. Yeah. Does the agricultural plan identify what measurable information will be reported to Maui County so it can verify the compatible agriculture continues over the permit term? Basically, I want to know, right, if there's an objective standard that's being provided here for the county to enforce their end of the permit?
Yeah, so the application does contain our representations working with our partner on what they see as an appropriate herd size for that area, the infrastructure that they may need, as well as their plans for commercial viability of those items. So I think in respect to reporting or demonstrating that we're meeting those representations for productive compatible ag, we would look to share how what we've planned with our partner has worked and anything we would need to work through with them.
Does council have a response?
Yes. We do have representatives here of Living Poland Project and our consultant, Scott Enright, so they could provide more information. I do know from the record that we have an existing solar project just north of us, Kūihelani Phase 1, and I believe they have an ongoing, a successful compatible agricultural program ongoing, and I believe they have about 200 head of sheep, and that for 2025 they were able to sell about 20 live head, and for about, I think, revenue of about $3,000. So we do have historical information, and we have projected numbers too. Like for our project for Phase 2, we're hoping for approximately another 200 head of sheep for our project, and hopefully, similar sales amounts. We've been working with the Living Pono project, and their ongoing, what it looks like to us, a success story, gives us hope. But I don't think we have. I'm not sure if we have any target data or a standard that can be given to the county that they could determine whether or not we actually do have, quote unquote, compatible agricultural activity. But all we have is our projections and our past history.
I'll follow up later.
Yeah, so Mr. Kamakura, hello. We're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna ask the Living Pono folks and maybe Mr. Enright to testify on this. But before we take our break, there's no ag there now, correct? Correct. It's been fallow since sugar ended, which is about a decade ago. You would say it's not feasible currently, the way the situation is on that land? Feasible. Well, we were told by the landowner that we will not have any water allocation for irrigation. I'm not sure. So it doesn't look like that right now, that the land is, as it sits right now, available for, or I don't know if it doesn't appear to be feasible for them, the landowner, to do any kind of agricultural production. It's been 10 years of being fallow, so it doesn't appear that the land is easy to develop for agriculture. Okay, and Mr. Tabata, in the report, it says that you're offering the land for agriculture at better than 50% under fair market value for free. Is that correct? That's correct. It's being offered for free to our partner, the Living Poland Project, and also the amount of land being made available is the full 476 acres. Okay, now the eventual acreage for our facility, the solar facility itself, is only going to be about 300 acres. Okay, so technically, we're supposed to, or we're statutorily required to provide the project area available to compatible agriculture.
So technically, it could be, we could be only required to provide access to the available lands in the 300 acres. Okay, that's my reading of the statute, but, the client, yes, they, you know, they take this seriously enough to obligate themselves through commitment to make the full 476 acre petition area available to our agricultural partner. Okay, so, and that's they gotta pay for that. Landowner is not giving it to us for free. So, that's their commitment to agriculture.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tabata. We're going to take a 10-minute break. It's 11:41. We'll be back around 11:51. Thank you. All right, everybody. Okay, thank you. We're back in session, and we're now gonna call on Living Pono and Mr. Scott Enright.
Sure, if I could, I misspoke. The folks from Living Pono Project are not here today. I thought they were gonna be here.
Okay.
But Mr. Enright is here.
He is your consultant.
He is our consultant, and he is prepared to testify at this time.
Okay. Mr. Enright, will you please take the public testimony seat?
It's a
Okay. No, he's yes. Okay.
Close. There. You're good.
thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, Mr. Enright, will you please state your name and your zip code, please?
Chair, Commissioner Scott Enright, agricultural consultant for AES Distributed Energy.
Mr. Enright, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Start with your question first, Commissioner. Each of these sites is specific. And so I always start there. AES is not an agricultural entity, so we look for the best agricultural partner we can find. Whereas some of the sites around the state, especially on Kauai, have unlimited water. Given the water situation in Maui with Mahi Pono, they knew they weren't going to have water for these sites. So, the planners understood that going in. We found Living Pono Project, who's successfully running sheep on adjacent property and have been running agricultural operations in that region for the last 10 years. So we think we have a successful entity potentially. But all of these agricultural operations are businesses. So we're never quite sure how they're going to go. But with this one, Living Pono's a dynamic partner. I understand they're putting in for some grant money to do a small animal slaughter, which would close the back end, which was always a question because we don't really have small animal slaughterhouses around the state. This one would allow them to slaughter with USDA and starting to ensure the success of the project. So there are successful projects. There's one that AES is putting together on the west side of Kauai with the Robinson family. So the Robinson family has been agricultural stewards for generations on that property. And it's the younger generation that's going to be the agricultural steward there. So they understand the lands, they've been farming it, and they have unlimited water. They can be far more successful than potentially the current project that we're discussing. So it varies. AES has also been contributing financial resources to work that's being done by HARC, the corporation that came behind Hawaii Sugar Planters that does ag research in the state. And they're doing research on the potential of agrovoltaics, what can be done with these lands. So there's a real intent to try to get it done. Some sites are far more productive than others. This one, I think, with the partner that AES has put together, that we've put together, has the best chance of success for this particular site. And Commissioner, there's a stipulation that a report needs to go in annually on the
the agricultural success of the project as it goes forward. So there'll be the reports to the LUC of how they're doing. And again, these are businesses. So ag's a tough business. But this particular partner, I believe, has a great degree of will have a great degree of success, especially in this particular site.
Commissioner Kamakeo, hello.
Mahalo, Chair. Mahalo, Mr. Enright, for your testimony. I do agree. Although I sit here on the commission and I work in government, I'm a farmer by trade.
Good for the soul.
It's good for the soil as well. And that's why my line of questions really, it's not that I don't believe this model is successful. It has been successful elsewhere. Yeah, I just don't see within the written language, an established minimum of commitment, because the way I read it and the way the language sits and the way my simple mind understands it, compliant ag could mean one beehive. It could mean one head of sheep. I'm not asking for 200 or 300 or 400 head of sheep commitment. What I'm asking is there a minimal? It was mentioned in some of the testimony earlier, mentioned that an adjacent site, they've been successful with about 200 head of sheep plus or minus. And I think that's a great benchmark.
Right.
I'm also not asking for that to be the benchmark for this site specific, even though we're miles down the road. Yeah, I know everything is site specific when it comes to agribusiness. And I do believe this model, again, works. I'm inclined to support the petition. I just want to ensure that the agency that has a kuleana over the authority to ensure that the project and its partners are in compliance have the administrative language to support that compliance. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Mr. Enright, will you just give a brief summary of your relevant experience in this matter?
I'm not sure of the question, Chair.
Maybe your past experience then.
Again, it's
for some of us who are not familiar with your esteemed career.
Oh, you want to know about me as opposed to about the projects? Is that it, Chair?
What makes you qualified to talk about this stuff?
Well, being an old Aggie, working in diversified ag, I've worked in forestry, I've worked in fruit crop production, all in this state, and sugar plantations, which was an amazing experience. Then worked for 2 different governors running the Department of Agriculture and being a consultant. I have clients around the state that I still consult with. So I think I can do a decent job for AES and doing their agricultural consulting. We look at AES to find the best ag partners we can, and not just to hit the minimum, that they can be successful as ag entrepreneurs, because that's basically what you have. Most people, when they look around the state and they look at all the fallow acres and they go, why aren't we food self-sufficient? It's because it's a business. You've got to be able to make a profit. Otherwise you don't do it. And that's the capital it takes to put that in place just hasn't been there. So, but moving forward, it's gratifying to see an Aggie on the Land Use Commission. I think I need more of them around the state on different boards and commissions. So thank you, Commissioner, for your service.
Thank you very much, Mr. Enright, and I also agree with your sentiments. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Mr. Enright, Commissioners? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, we're now going to ask the staff to summarize the staff report for us and any staff concerns. So I'm going to call on Ms. Martina Segura.
Chair.
Good afternoon. This is Martina Segura for the record. The staff report was posted to the Land Use Commission website for public review and commissioner review on Thursday, August 13th. Not included in the staff report are OPSD's comments, which were received on August 18th, which I'll defer to them for their presentation, or the county comments that were received this morning. Staff believes that sufficient information exists on the record in the petitioner and the petition has met the guidelines for a state special use permit. However, staff has concerns regarding the 12 suggested conditions for the state special use permit provided by Maui Planning Commission in their DNO, which is Exhibit K on the record. We believe that they don't provide as much detail as the record supports or the statutory requirements that the commission has. So the staff provided suggested conditions on pages 19 through 24 of the staff report for the state special permit. We also offered, these conditions reflect the record details and the obligations for special permits under HRS 205, HAR 1515, and other statutory requirements like Chapter 6E. Additionally, the comments are typically the standardized conditions associated with other state special permits for solar permits, including the recent Kauai County special permit that was also an AES project. So if you look back at history, these are typically standardized conditions. So the same thing with the compatible ag use. The 6-month check-in period has been historically listed as 6 months since 2015, and I believe it came from an OPSD comment letter on a previous petition, but that 6-month period is always amendable by the commission. Lastly, we offered a motion for the commission to approve the special permit. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Segura. Commissioners, are there any questions for our staff planner? Okay, seeing none in person and seeing none online.
Question.
Oh, Commissioner Uu.
So just quick question. So the conditions that's being offered from State Land Use Commission currently for this project, were they the same conditions that were for the initial first project for this AES project, phase 1?
Thank you for the question. So the staff offered I believe it's 24 conditions with review of the record from the county level. So they're not the same conditions that the county suggested, but the Land Use Commission has discretion in our special permit rules to add conditions in which they think and feel is appropriate for the permit.
So my question is, and I'm assuming State Land Use Commission had oversight on its phase 1. It did not? Was it under 15 acres? Sorry.
Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Answer Commissioner Uu's question. Kūihelani phase 1 does not have a state LUC special permit. I believe the soil qualities did not require. There was no B or C lands there, so there wasn't needed. I would concur with Martina that the conditions that the staff has provided, proposed conditions, are standard conditions based on my review of past projects like Ka'awanui or Mahi Solar, and maybe even West Oahu. So we've looked at them and we have no objection to any of them, except we do have a correction for the decommissioning condition. For that condition, there is an exception to our obligation to decommission. In the staff report. They note except not the substation, and that was because in Ka'awanui the substation was going to be owned by Kauai County, but for this project Maui Electric will be the owner of the switch yard. So it's referred to the Maui Electric switch yard and interconnection lines. Those will belong to Maui County, and that we would ask that they not be included in our obligation to decommission. So that could be corrected. I would also note that there was testimony submitted by Maui County regarding conditions. We have no problem with, what Maui County is asking for, whether it's Maui County's request or the LUC staff's request. We're fine with that.
Oh, thank you for that clarification. That includes today's comments from Maui County that we received.
Correct. We were able to review their written comments, with their testimony, and we're okay with what they're asking, but I'm not sure how the commission wants to resolve their comments with what the staff is proposing.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Wu. Any further questions?
No, I just wanted to clarity and consistency. At the same time, I note taking that the Maui County has also offered suggestions for conditions. And as we were on Big Island in the last meeting, we see the difference in county, I guess, rules and regulations that differ, but maybe, so I just looking at that as a, we should take a look at the county's suggestions too, as to, they Kūihelani, I hate to, and I would say hate to, I would not want to put the county in a position in reading some of their differences of, I guess, how the conditions will be met. I wouldn't want to put the unnecessary burden on them if need be, and if we can resolve them, fine.
Thank you, Commissioner Wu. Mr. Tabata, so can you clarify, you said phase 1 did not go to the State Land Use Commission because it wasn't class A, B, or C?
There was no B or C rated lands.
It was ag land though, right?
It was ag land, but what 205-4.5 A21 provides is that if your solar energy facility has either B or C lands, then you're required to get a special permit. And given the acreage and our status of having IEL lands, we would need the LUC approval if there was B or C lands. We have B lands, so that's why we're here before you today. The same is not true for Kūihelani phase 1. That's why they did not come before you.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that for everyone. Yes, Commissioner.
So it's not based on, it's the land classification regardless of water?
Correct. It's because there was no B or C rated lands in Kūihelani phase 1.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wu. Any other questions for the staff report? Okay, seeing none in person and none online. Thank you very much, Ms. Segura. Okay, we're now going to go to the County of Maui to present your comments. Mr. Hopper.
Thank you, Chair. Initially, I thought there was a reference to an OPSD comment letter of August 18th. I know one from the 14th. Was there anything from the 18th, or did I may have misheard that? But the OPSD comment letter is the 14th, right?
I'm going to ask staff. Can you clarify that?
Yes, it was the 14th. Sorry.
Okay, I wanted to make sure, since I know ours was pretty recent. We just wanted to make sure there wasn't another one. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Segura.
Thank you for that clarification. Chair, I'd just like to allow Planning Director Jackie Takakura briefly to summarize some comments. If she's, I can give her the microphone here.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you. So my name is Jackie Takakura. I'm the Director of Planning for the County of Maui, and I swear to tell the truth. So I just have a very short statement that the Department of Planning supports the proposed special use permit for Kūihelani Solar Phase 2. And this is based on just some highlights that the Maui Planning Commission recommended approval of the county special use permit on May 26th. The project is an important alternative to continued use of fossil fuels, and it's in line with the state's goal of reducing reliance on fossil fuels and also consistent with Maui's general plan goals of moving away from fossil fuels. PV is an obvious choice for hot and sunny central Maui, and the project includes batteries, which will help with providing power at night and those rare days of full cloud cover, kind of like today. As a proposed agricultural use will be incorporated, and this is an increase in the ag use compared to the last 10 years, during which the land lay fallow and actually full of deer, which is a problem. The commission included that the applicant will work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to mitigate impacts to Kealia National Wildlife Refuge. And the department supports the 30-year time frame, and that decommissioning plans are included, and that the applicant must return the property to substantially the same physical condition as existed before development. As you can see, I did hand out this morning hard copies of some comments to the staff report, suggested amendments to conditions, and those are based on from the lens of the Department of Planning and the staffing of the Department of Planning. I know that HRS assigns the administration and enforcement and follow-up to the county, but I just wanted to point out that through the Department of Planning staff, we may not have the financial analyses capabilities or the being able to verify that the ag use is 50% or some of these more specific things, or FAA hazard mitigation conditions or HDOT. So it just might be a little bit challenging for the department to try to administer some of the conditions. And there is also one about major versus minor changes, that if we could get some guidance on what the commission's intention is for those, so we can administer those correctly. And then also our zoning inspectors, they do tend to be complaint-based, where we would follow up on things regarding land use or buildings or signs. So in terms of a 6-month check that, that the agriculture is going on and so forth, I think we'd be probably relying on the applicant, or we'd have to figure out how to, get out there every 6 months to make sure, but that's not in our typical line of duties. But I can answer any other questions if you have them. It's not a long commentary that I provided, but otherwise, the project is consistent with the general plan documents, and it supports the long-term goals for the county regarding agriculture, resilience and sustainability, and taking care of the natural resources of the island. And so the department does support the special use permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I'm going to ask, before I take Commissioners' questions, I'm going to ask the Executive Officer to comment on the testifier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've obviously been reviewing the county's comments. First of all, I would like to note, as Council has stated, that these conditions that the Land Use Commission are proposing have been placed on most of the other projects, special permit solar projects that we've done. That being said, the intent of a lot of the conditions is not to place additional burdens on the county. We're not, for instance, there's a concern about inspection and things like that. We're not instructing the county to go out and inspect all the time. What they are is their tools, if at some point it comes to the county's attention that things have not been going the way they should be, there is a legal basis for the county to direct the petitioner to make changes. With regard to the conditions concerning that the county has mentioned regarding FAA and DOT, those are in there so that the FAA or the DOT could enforce those conditions. They're not intended for the county to undertake those enforcement provisions. We're not expecting the county to do anything other than they normally do. We're just giving them tools so that if there is a concern raised by the community or there is a problem, that they have those tools to deal with. Now, with regard to the major and minor issue, once again, it gives the county the discretion to make that decision. What is major, what is minor? We don't intend to enforce that on the counties. That's their discretion.
Mr. Hopper, Director Kakakura, do you have any comments on that?
Thank you. We appreciate that. I think I think the department just wanted to, I mean, the nature of the conditions, some of them come from statute, and some of the statute, frankly, I think has some things that a zoning enforcement division might not be as comfortable as some other types of conditions, like looking at the 50% market rate value of leases and things. But yes, it's acknowledged that's in the statute. I think the department just wanted to raise that as sort of a general concern, and I think we appreciate that explanation.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, commissioners, any questions for the County of Maui? Okay, I see none in person and none online. All right, thank you very much, County of Maui. State Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, please present your comments.
Thank you, Chair. Alison Kato for OPSD. OPSD finds that the proposed project meets the guidelines for determining an unusual and reasonable use for a special permit and recommends approval of the application. Additionally, OPSD has no objections to the amended conditions proposed by LUC staff, although we defer to the county on the appropriate wording of conditions 11 and 22, as those relate to permits administered by them. The project will help advance the state towards its renewable energy goals, reduce the use of fossil fuels, and will benefit Maui residents by lowering electricity costs. At the same time, the project will also benefit compatible agricultural uses within the project site. While the project is designated as IAL and contains soil suitable for agriculture, it lacks water for agricultural irrigation and has remained fallow since cessation of sugarcane production. The applicant intends to offer the project site lands at no cost to local agricultural users and will provide resources and support to those uses. And following decommissioning of the project, the lands will eventually be restored for future agricultural use, so the land is preserved. Additionally, the project is not expected to have any significant impacts on resources or the surrounding lands, and the applicant will implement appropriate best management practices. So again, OPSD supports approval of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kato. Commissioners, any questions for the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development? Okay, seeing none, thank you for your comments. All right, petitioner, do you have any final comments you would like to make at this time?
Well, I was going to go over the legal requirements for this project, but it may be faster. Everything's in the record. It's in the record, the evidence, the discussions, it's in the record. So maybe it's faster if I just open myself up to questions, if anybody has any regarding the legal requirements for our project.
Okay, commissioners, any questions for the petitioner? Commissioner,
A question on what you brought up in condition, was it condition 24 on the decommission?
Condition 22, I believe.
22. Okay, okay. What was your concern again? And
oh, there is an exception that the substation is not to be decommissioned. But it's actually the Maui Electric switch yard and interconnection lines that, because those will be owned by the county and we don't want those decommissioned.
okay, is that sufficient for staff to create something to accommodate that?
Actually, Executive Officer, can that
Okay,
be the DNO?
Yeah, so
Yes, that can be.
I misspoke. It's owned by the utility, the Maui Electric, not the county. I'm sorry.
Assuming the record is clear.
I'm driving them crazy, but yeah, it's it won't be ours, so we don't want to decommission.
You just either had a windfall or liability. I'm not sure what, but yeah, thanks for that clarification. Executive Officer, could you please that?
Yeah, assuming that we know exactly what's happening, we can craft a condition or modify the condition to take that into account.
Okay, thank you. Would that have to be in our motion? Would that have to be in our motion about the excluding the substation?
Yeah.
Okay, All right, let's all remember that. Okay, any other questions for the county of, oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Miyasato, thank you. Please, offer your question
Thank you, Chair. During the
to
presentation.
the petitioner. You're,
Hold on, I think our audio went off.
okay,
Yes, Dean.
okay. Okay, it's a problem on our end, and we're fixing it now, Commissioner Miyasato. Okay, Commissioner Miyasato, question for the petitioner.
Okay, thank you, Chair. During the presentation, it was mentioned a couple of times about the stable, low-cost benefit that the residents will receive during the term of this project. And that the stable low cost was due to the power purchase agreement. Do you have any update and follow-up on the power purchase agreement? Yes, the PPA was approved by the PUC. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions for the petitioner from commissioners? Okay, seeing none. County of Maui, do you have any closing arguments or comments you would like to make?
Thank you, Chair Lee. I do want to add one comment in here that there are some references to ministerial permits, such as grading and building permits. Typically, the county does not attach conditions to ministerial permits, so I don't know if you want to rephrase those or figure out some other way to attach any of those conditions to some steps in the approval processes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Derrickson, will you please respond?
Yeah, just so you understand, that doesn't have anything specifically to do with the grading and the building permits. It's a timing issue. What you're supposed to make sure of at the county level is that you get a map of the meets and bounds description of the project and the site plan before the county issues the building or grading permits. It has nothing to do with the grading and building permits themselves. It's a timing issue. Do you understand that?
Yes, the planner will have to ensure following up because those are done by different divisions and the different processes. But thank you, I understand.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. All right, any other questions for County of Maui? Okay, seeing none. Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, do you have any closing arguments you would like to make?
No, none. Thank you.
Thank you, OPSD. Commissioners, do you have any final questions or comments for the parties before we enter deliberations? Okay, seeing none, we will now open up a second round of public testimony for any new or additional comments only. And for those participating via Zoom, please notify the chief clerk if you do by using the question and answer feature. All right, Ms. Kwan, I see that there are two folks signed up to testify on Zoom. Is that correct? Okay, first testifier is Sam Kim, and Mr. Kim, you are still under oath, so please offer your testimony. I believe you're muted, Mr. Kim.
Hi, hello. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
All right, sorry, there's a little technical difficulties.
Can you turn on your camera?
Yeah, I'm having difficulty doing that right now.
Okay, well, we already know what you look like, so if you cannot, then please just proceed.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm not sure why my camera's not working, but
Wait,
aloha,
you know what,
Chair
actually,
Lee.
wait, did you testify before? It was Micah Kim, right?
No, it was Micah
Okay.
Kim. This is the other good-looking
Okay.
Korean guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me swear you in then.
Okay.
Mr. Sam Kim, you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please proceed.
Aloha, Chair Lee and Commissioners. My name is Sam Kim with the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters, representing 6,000 carpenters and tradespeople statewide, including many raising their families here on Maui. We're in strong support of this special use permit application, and we stand in our written testimony, but I'd like to reiterate and emphasize a couple key points. So, the simple fact is that Maui really needs this generation. There are 2 fossil fuel units in Maui that will retire by 2027 and 2030, and that power has to be replaced. 40 megawatts of solar with 160 megawatt hours of storage means clean energy. That shields ratepayers from oil price swings, which we have experienced how volatile it can be due to things out of our control and on the other side of the world. Hawaii's renewable portfolio standard requires 100% renewable generation by 2045, and Governor Green's executive order number 2501 directs the state to accelerate that transition. These commitments can only become real when actual projects are permitted and built. And furthermore, it's through projects such as this that allows local people to continue earning a living wage where they call home. We're talking about a tangible $241 million investment, roughly 1,541 jobs, $89.6 million in labor income, over 14 to 18 months of construction with 80 to 100 workers on site every day. And that's work for our members who are trained and ready to do it. It's apprenticeship hours for the next generation and wages that stay on Maui, where too many of our local people have had to leave to find steady work. And so for these reasons, the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters respectfully urges this commission to approve the state special permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Commissioners, any questions for Sam Kim? Okay, seeing none, thank you for your testimony. The next person we have signed up to testify is Mr. Dwight Vicente. Are you there?
I'm promoting him now.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Vicente, please state your name and your zip code.
Dwight Vicente. Hawaiian Kingdom has no zip code. It's not under the federal mailing system.
All right. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please proceed.
So my name is Dwight Vicente, representing the Hawaiian Kingdom under the 1840 Constitution and the 1848 Mahele, which is a Kanaka land trust of over 4.2 million acres of Crown and government lands. These lands was only leased out. 1890, the King Kalakaua leased out over 2.2 million acres to the Sugar Plantation, Parker Ranch, all these business guys, foreign business guys, I should say. And that was for 30 years, from 1890 to 1920. 1920, the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act was created as an Indian Removal Act. Under the leases, the lease contract, Kanaka got to live on the land while it was under lease to the sugar plantation. And there's a history that sugar plantations are trying desperately to get them off of the land to claim ownership of the land, which they did after the 1920 the leases term came to end. Most people don't realize that the sugar plantation, why the sugar plantation is shut down. They continued after the leases ended until the 1980s, when New Orleans sued the federal government for subsidizing the sugar over here, which they have been doing since 1887 under the Reciprocity Proclamation. And what happened was they shut down and they sold the lands as if they owned the land, which is not true under the 1848 Mahele. That's a Kanaka land trust. Those lands was only leased out for anybody to claim they own these lands as fraud, a criminal act, especially for foreign nationals who are here without a treaty. Hawaiian Kingdom's treaties ended in 1897. And that's why in 1898, what the Banana Republic did was cede Crown and government lands that had no lease contract on. That's 1.750 million acres of Crown and government lands not having a lease on. The other leases, King Kalakaua did 30-year lease to actually protected it from being ceded illegally to the U.S. And later on annexed to the Ohio River Valley Indian Reserve under the Northwest Ordinance of July 1787. there's a
Mr.
lot of
Vicente, could
confusion
you
I'm
please
listening going
summarize
on
your
because
comments, please? Please summarize and direct your comments towards this project, if you could, please.
okay, they're all the same. All the development on the leased lands, what you call agricultural lands, are under Hawaiian Kingdom, not under the state of Hawaii. State of Hawaii is limited under State versus Jim 2004 case to be limited to the 1898 joint resolution, the cede of the 1,750,000 acres of Crown and government lands to the U.S. that was later annexed to Ohio River Valley Indian Reserve. And the state of Hawaii is in the same boat with Banana Republic, Territory of Hawaii, Hawaiian Homes, and the state of Hawaii. So the state versus Jim has already been ruled on, limiting the jurisdiction of the state of Hawaii, which includes the Land Use Commission, to the ceded land only. The what you call agricultural lands, the state of Hawaii counties do not have jurisdiction, period. And that needs to be enforced. It's been here since, and they go back to 1898, so it has to be enforced all the way back to 1898. So all rights reserved. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions, commissioners, for this testifier? Okay, seeing none. Okay, thank you for your testimony, Mr. Vicente. All right, Ms. Kwan, are there any other query requests to testify?
Seeing none in the Q&A feature and seeing none in the room, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kwan. The commission will now conduct formal deliberations on the petitioner's application for the special permit. We will note for the parties and the public that during the commission's deliberations, we will not entertain any additional input from the parties or the public unless those individuals or entities are specifically requested to do so by the chair. If called upon, we will ask that any comments be limited to the question at hand. So commissioners, let me now confirm that each of you has reviewed the record and is prepared to deliberate on this matter. After I call your name, will you please signify with either an aye or a nay that you are prepared to deliberate on this matter? Commissioner Bradshaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Hayashida.
Aye.
Commissioner Kamakeo Hello.
Aye.
Commissioner Miyasato.
Aye.
Commissioner Uu.
Aye.
And I, the chair, is also prepared to deliberate on this matter. So commissioners, we will now entertain a motion, and the motion should state the reasons for acceptance or non-acceptance, and note the provision on the not having to decommission the switchyard equipment. So we're open to entertaining a motion to approve this or disapprove this special project. Mr. Miyasato, Commissioner Miyasato.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to offer for the record that a cultural impact assessment incorporating a Kapa'akai analysis was prepared and presented as evidence with background research and community outreach to 46 individuals and organizations, and were people with cultural knowledge of this area. So based on this, no ongoing traditional or cultural practices were identified within the project site. This site has been extremely disturbed, extensively disturbed by prior sugarcane cultivation. So I'd like to submit for the record that I find that the minimum requirements for Kapa'akai announcement has been met.
Okay, thank you very much.
Chair, also, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, please finish.
Okay, well, you know, probably was about 25 years ago, I got to visit the Maalaea power plant. And those diesel generators in there are dinosaurs. And as OPSD has indicated, you know, to find replacement parts for their operation is probably really hard. And so, you know, this project is important, very important for Maui. And so, you know, after reviewing the Maui County's Planning Commission records, going over the LUC staff's report and recommendations,
testimonies that were presented and submitted, comments by the state and county and the departments. Also, this project is consistent with the county and community plans for expansion of solar energy. So, Chair, I'd like to offer a motion that the commission approve the Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 LLC special permit application for solar development on approximately 476 acres of land in the state and county agricultural districts, located within a 3,898 acre parcel of land identified by tax map key 23-8-005 002-003 in Maui, Hawaii, subject to the 24 conditions with the amendment, I believe, on condition 22. Those conditions that were recommended by staff. Also adopt the condition language in the county's decision and order, and authorize the chairperson to execute the order necessary to effectuate the commission's decision, and that this be subject to review and approval by the Department of the Attorney General.
Thank you for that very thorough motion, Commissioner Miyasato, and I believe that includes the language clarifying that the petitioner will not have to decommission that switchyard equipment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Uu seconds. Is there any discussion, commissioners? Okay, I'm gonna ask, I don't know if this is repetitive, but Commissioner Miyasato, do you have any comments on your motion before we vote?
I did my comments prior to the motion, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Uu, do you have any comments?
Just wanted to clarify the condition 22, since we voted on it prior. Can we have the statement made, or is it something we vote on and go back? I just wanted for
Are you requesting that from the petitioner or from the staff?
Either.
Okay. Petitioner?
Thank you, Chair. The language for condition 22 would refer to the Maui Electric switchyard and interconnection lines as being not required to be decommissioned.
See, thank you for that clarification. Executive Officer Ordenker?
Staff is prepared to craft the language necessary to effectuate that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any other questions? Okay, seeing none in person and none online anymore. Without further discussion, Mr. Ordenker, will you please conduct the roll call vote?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion is to approve the Kūihelani Solar Phase 2 LLC special permit application for solar development, subject to the 24 conditions recommended by staff, adopting the condition language in the county's decision and order, with the modification of condition 22 to separate out the switchyard from decommissioning and power lines, and authorize the chairperson to execute the order necessary to effectuate the commission's decision. Commissioner Miyasato.
Aye.
Commissioner Uu.
Aye.
Commissioner Bradshaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Hayashida.
Aye.
Commissioner Kamakea, hello.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to all the parties for your presentations, and good luck with your projects and your farming. Okay, we're going to take a half-hour break, and then we'll be back at 1:20 p.m. Is that enough time?
Good.
Yeah. Oh, let me clarify that. So we're all right. If you guys are good, we're going to power through. Everyone's nodding yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Miyasato. Thank you. Let's take a 5-minute recess then. We'll be back at 12:47. Okay, we're back in session. Okay, we're on agenda item number 3, adoption of the minutes. This next order of business is the approval of the June 26, 2026 meeting. It says June 26. It should be June 24th. Okay. Sorry, it's the approval of the June 24, 2026 meeting minutes. The original draft minutes were posted to the LUC website on July 6, 2026, and on July 10th, 2026, the petitioner in DR 21-73 filed an objection to the draft minutes. On August 11, 2026, the petitioner submitted proposed revisions to the draft minutes in red line format. Ms. Kwan, has any written testimony been received on those minutes?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, are there any members of the public wishing to testify on this item?
Seeing none in the Q&A feature or in the room.
I see that Commissioner Miyasato has his hand raised. Do you have a question?
No, I have a comment when you're ready.
Okay, all right. Commissioners, are there any corrections, comments, or proposed revisions to the draft minutes, including the revisions proposed by the petitioner? Commissioner Miyasato?
Thank you, Chair. You know, I believe the minutes, the summary of the minutes have been sufficient. In order for us to vote on something of this nature would mean we'd have to go back into the transcripts or the YouTube recording in order to verify that the statements are accurate and correct, that on the red line, in order to vote, in my opinion. And I believe the accuracy of the record transcripts is a third-party obligation along with the staff, not the commission. There was a recent challenge to a declaratory order, and I guess the civil court at that time had sent a letter to our department requesting all records, files, pleadings, motions, memoranda, letters, exhibits, notices, applications, petitions, declarations, correspondence, affidavits, audio recordings, conferences, transcripts, and minutes, decisions and orders filed. And those minutes were the summarized minutes. And this case had prevailed, and the case was remanded to the LUC. And so I believe our summarized minutes are sufficient, along with the rest of the documentation that the staff upholds and keeps on record. So for myself, I'd like to keep the process and procedure for staff rather than the commission having to review and go back to the accuracy of records. So I won't be supporting the red line. Thank you,
Okay,
Chair.
thank you. If I could maybe try and interpret what you're saying, that there are other documents such as the transcripts that you feel sort of make the minutes not as necessary to be corrected. Is that your position?
I feel the process that the staff has established is sufficient.
Okay, thank you. I do want to note that on page 3 of the red line, there's a misspelling of Commissioner Kūihelani's name twice. One in the last red line section and one under 3 approval of minutes, it's spelled Kahale, which I'm not Hawaiian, but I think that means a house or something.
The red line changes came from the petitioner.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. Do we have any questions for any other questions regarding these minutes? I want to hear from Mr. Chip Chase on your proposed red line.
Chair and members, Cal Chip Chase. I appreciate Commissioner Miyasato's comments, and I appreciate the opportunity to address the corrections that we've proposed. The reason we put in the proposed minutes or the corrections is because, according to the transcript, which we do have and did have prepared, the reasons expressed for the votes in the draft minutes did not match the reasons articulated on the transcript. And for that particular matter, I mean, all matters for sure, but for that particular matter, we believe that accuracy and reflecting the reasons the commissioners voted or the reasons they stated they voted a particular way on that matter were important to memorialize. For sure, the transcript is part of the record. For sure, the statements remain part of the record without respect to the minutes. I think the chair's observation on those points are correct. But we thought accuracy and consistency through the entire process, from statements to the transcripts to the reflection of the minutes, was important enough to raise to the commission in the form that we did. I think probably in my 26 years, these are the first minutes I've ever proposed corrections to. And so I don't plan to make it a habit here or elsewhere. But for this matter, we thought that accuracy was important. And I would say that extends to spelling names correctly. And so I am sorry for that obvious oversight. But those are my reasons, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chip Chase. I'm going to ask the staff, do they feel that, well, what are your comments on what's been said?
I actually have a question. Since one of the red line is regarding you, are you willing to make a comment if you're in agreement with what is said there?
You meaning
Commissioner
Kamakeo, hello.
Yes.
Commissioner Kamakeo, hello.
I wasn't aware I was on the stand.
You're not under oath, but
well, let the record reflect that. Can you restate your question?
I'm just wondering if you're okay with the red line, because it does mention your name.
You know, I'm okay with the portion that mentions my name. However, you know, the inconsistencies in Mel's name, I'm not okay with.
Okay, so that sounds like you're okay with your red line section then. Okay, thank you for the question, Commissioner Bradshaw. Executive Officer Ordinker, you have any comments?
No, I do not. I mean, staff does its best to prepare the minutes based on their perception of what occurred. But the minutes belong to the commission, not the staff. So if the commissioners feel that there needs to be some modification, we don't have a problem with that. But
so it sounds like you're saying it's our fault then if you guys make a mistake.
No. What we're saying is that Mr. Chip Chase is being a pain. But no, my point is that the minutes are just meant to be a summary of the transcript. The transcripts are controlling. So if the commissioners don't feel that the minutes reflect the transcript, then that's fine. It is up to the commissioners as to whether or not they want to modify the proposed minutes.
Okay, Commissioner Bradshaw.
I make a motion to adopt the changes on the minutes.
Okay, so your motion is to approve the amended minutes.
Yes.
With the name changes, including the name changes.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Bradshaw, seconded by Commissioner Uu. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All right. Commissioner Uu seconded. Okay, there being no further discussion, Executive Officer Ordinker, will you please conduct the roll call vote?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion is to approve the proposed amended minutes, including name changes to correct the record. Commissioner Bradshaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Wu.
Aye.
Commissioner Kamakea, hello.
Aye.
Commissioner Miyasato.
No.
Commissioner Hayashida.
Aye.
Chair Reed.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion passes with 5 affirmative votes and 1 negative.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chip Chase, or I should call you the Peen.
Yeah. That'll be in the transcript for the next one.
We want to accurately reflect that too.
I think we do. And I promise that I have no comments on any other minutes on this agenda. Thank you, members.
Thank you very much. You have a good
nice day. Safe travels to all.
Thank you. All right, agenda item number 4. This next order of business is the approval of the July 29, 2026 meeting minutes. Ms. Kwan, has any written testimony been received on those minutes?
Seeing none in the Q&A feature and seeing none in the room.
Are there any members of the public wishing to testify on this item?
No, Mr. Chair.
Commissioners, are there any questions are there any corrections or comments on the July 29, 2026 minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion now to approve the July 29, 2026 minutes?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Wu motioned and Commissioner Kamakeo Hello seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the minutes are approved by acclamation. Agenda item number 3, adoption of the minutes of the August 5th, 2026 meeting minutes. Ms. Kwan, has any written testimony been received on those minutes?
No, Mr. Chair.
Are there any members of the public wishing to testify on this item?
Seeing none, but Miyasato has his hand raised.
Okay, Commissioner Miyasato.
Yeah, we'll be voting on this, Chair. I was not present.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Miyasato. Commissioners, are there any corrections or comments on these minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the August 5th, 2026 minutes?
Commissioner Hayashida.
Commissioner Hayashida has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bradshaw. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Agenda item number 6, tentative meeting schedule. The next agenda item is the tentative meeting schedule from Mr. Orodenker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On September 10th, we will be in Kona for SP 9374 Parker Ranch. On September 23rd, we will be again on Maui for the Kūihelani Associates matter and Puama Lanai. On October, we don't have anything scheduled in October. We do have a couple of SPs percolating, so we would caution the commissioners the same with November.
Okay, thank you very much, commissioners. Do you have any questions for Mr. Orodenker? Seeing none, thank you very much. Let's see. The next thing, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm getting there. All right, I can tell everyone's hungry. The next Land Use Commission meeting is scheduled for September 10th, 2026, and will be held in Kona. Due to the demanding schedule required to complete LUC business, we request that meals be provided for a working lunch as an integral part of that meeting. Mr. Orodenker, will you please have LUC staff make the necessary arrangements for the working lunch?
We will do so, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Orodenker. This concludes our meeting. Is there any further business to discuss? Okay, if not, we declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Commissioner Miyasato. You take care.